both sides. Love to see Raze played on this map. Also like to see Omen played. So we'll see the Omen from fish123, likely to be Eccles. Early on, they go for some aggression towards B main. The Boombot gets obliterated immediately. There's a Raze inside that smoke, and yikes. Those shots were so dangerously close to that Raze.
Yeah, now the push up. We saw exactly what Tom said. Angel walking up through it, making it a nightmare, but Eccles, he'll be there for the refrag. Still now down to the 4v4, but they are committed towards this B take, and the defense now having to funnel back in the alleyways. It's going to be the battle of the pistols here, and Scream just has to leave that. He does not want anything to deal with it. And unfortunately for Artist, he had to reload as Scream was just passing him by. That was a very weird interaction. Well, they have control. They're going to get that spike down. Eccles will find one, but it's Xiao with a quick, clean headshot. And now here comes the retake.
Link popping that heal onto Scream, able to propel him forward into a one-on-one. But somehow it's Dinks J who survives in the exchange against the one and only Screamy Bobby. It will be the first round going to PartyParrots, fish123. Starting on the defense on split. Again, you got to hope they can put up at least a decent amount of rounds because this is a very strong map for PartyParrots, but losing that pistol is an inauspicious start.
Ooh, look at this force up. They are, I mean, I wonder what's going through their minds right now. You know, they're probably worried. They lose the pistol, and so they want to keep the rounds in their favor, right? And so they're taking a risk here. They're buying armor, they're buying weapons, but most importantly, they're buying shotguns. They're going to make it very difficult for the PartyParrots to push in. And this might be the answer that Tom was looking for. How are you going to deal with somebody like Angel who's just going to run in middle dry and find 1 kill, maybe 2 kills? He's got a pistol, and they're going up against some shotguns. Let's see how they end up doing.
Solkus right around that corner with that Bucky. He's ready to unload. Oh, the nade might get things started first. It's going to push him out right into the sights. Easy kill coming in off the shotgun. The judge, though, not as successful for Link over on the B site. Again, you see a wide swing come out from the shotgun of Solka. Scream, luckily, is there with the Sheriff, and even though it's not a headshot, it's a kill regardless coming out for fish123. Not a great start in the round. Solka's right around the corner.
Nice.
Doesn't spot out SSK. So we're back at a 3-on-3.
Still going to be some weapons online for fish123. Of course, Scream there had the Sheriff. 1 taps, were able to find 1, could not find the second there as SSK crosses over towards the sewers. And now with those smokes, Michael's trying to make it a little bit more difficult for the attack to push in. They're already in. 32 late. Those smokes are not really going to get the job done, but it's the judge that'll take Artist out of the mix. The defense held up in heaven, and now it'll be a little bit more difficult for those shotgun shots to really make a difference. Cryptics, though, back corner of the site, and the force up ends up working in their favor. And a quite important round for them to win, I have a feeling. PartyParrots will see what they're going to be end up buying. But of course, they don't really have the economy. Angel going to be going deep into the pockets for the Vandal, while the rest of the team likely not going to follow suit. Maybe they'll look for him to do a lot of the fragging, and if he ends up falling, they'll just pick up the weapon and continue the chain. We've seen how they swing together as a team. On the opposite side, though, we see 3 assault rifles, Eccles, Solkus, and Link. They're ready to keep the momentum going in their favor, and they desperately need to do so.
You know, we hear this meme in Counter-Strike a lot. What if they were just saving strats? That's why they haven't played well on Split thus far. They were just saving strats. And they were saving it for this match. Maybe there's a world we do go to that 3rd map. Who knows? Nice play coming out from Solkus. The breach charge actually doesn't managed to take out any of those players despite being lined up right outside that detonation radius. Scream with the SMG, gonna get 1 more. There's a rifle on the ground right to his right. Gonna just continue to play with the SMG for now. Pivoting between Heaven and B site. It's just 2, though, that survive. It's SSK, and it's the Cypher. It's Dinks J. You've got SSK all the way up in mid. Dinks J going back towards the spike with the Sheriff. And he does grab it. But there's 2 players on each side, so it'll be an even 2-on-2 regardless of which direction they go.
Which does mean that the odds can really start to be a little bit easier for PartyParrots to deal with. And of course, now Dinkshay is going to pick up a Spectre, as there were some more weapons on the ground. They see the back corner. Scream going to try to get some of that damage done from a distance with the ADS, but Dinkshay actually doesn't pick up a new weapon. He's going to stick with the Sheriff, while there's going to be SSK with the Vandal pushing up forward. But they need to act quick, as the rest of the fish123 members are starting to push in. But the two on the site will be able to defend it well. And unfortunately for Cryptix, does not have the hops to pick up the Vandal there. And that'll just go into the Nether Realm. But now, everyone but Angel will be able to buy some weaponry. He might still decide to force up here. And we'll see if this round will at least go towards PartyParrots. You know, on the attack, it can be very difficult to really crack the shell. Looking at the little hat on the frog, it's got its own little eyeballs there too. But, you know, one of the things that NIP was able to do successfully against fish123 was actually their agent selection. They were comfortable enough to pick Reyna, whereas Scream is obviously swapping over to the Breach. But we know that he has Reyna experience, and I wonder if bringing it to Split would be something that would help the team. I know that the Breach is something that he's decided to take a role on, regardless of the map, but I wonder how the Reyna would have looked and felt on this map.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Reyna is far from a perfect agent currently. Reyna can work on the right map. You'll see teams sometimes put Reyna into play on Ascent, very occasionally on Split as well. I still don't love the pick, but it is a very self-serving agent, meaning like the role works well for that individual. So part of me likes the idea of him playing that. But again, I understand why you wouldn't, because it isn't perfect right now in its current state. So if the Breach is working, I don't want to necessarily see him swap off. And let's be fair, the Breach is working. There's the ult coming out from Solkas. He goes up over the wall with the blast pack, takes out the Sage, dies immediately to Angel. A well-placed shot coming out from the Guardian. Link as well, a one and done, but there's still Scream on the site. They know he's here as the flashes came out, giving away his position. It's again another close situation, a 2-on-2, but when they go for the spike plant, Echoes drops out of heaven, takes a little bit of damage, but it doesn't matter. It will be a third round now for fish123. Another promising round start from PartyParrots, but they're having trouble once it comes down to those close end of round scenarios. That's exactly what we saw last time. A mid round, they started to lose quite a few bodies. They couldn't win the end round, and the same thing happens again here. Fish123 getting off to a decent start here on the defensive side, but it does feel like it's just a matter of time once the money balances out well for PartyParrots, but they just continue to force the issue. They continue to spend cash. They're dropping some players down, like Shao on 1,000 with a stinger and some armor. You almost feel like it'd be better for them to just wait.
Yeah, they might just be a little bit confident on the economy that'll bounce back. They are, of course, on the 2-loss streak, and so they're guaranteed 2,900 regardless of the outcome. 3,000, of course, if they win the round, but already starting to look very unlikely, as Link will find one at a distance. Having a quick look at, obviously not a Cypher camera, just a look in towards the middle, but it's looking like fish123 are wanting to fight for this. They'll find two with Shao and SSK with just pure stingers, able to make it work. The defense is starting to slightly fall apart, and that'll be a couple of upgrades that come into the hands of the PartyParrots. Cryptix, though, has a great angle in the mailroom, and now it's just down to Shao. See if he's able to find a couple for his money. It'll be dangerously low here for Cryptix as he gets down to 2 with the blast pack, but Link with a great crossfire to come support the middle push. It's 4 rounds now for the side of fish123, and PartyParrots is likely going to be another gun round for them upcoming.
I mean, we casted the Pulse Invitational. We got to see one team who loved the Stinger, Code 7. More specifically, Rob Wiz, who gave us some masterclass. My man has a PhD in Stinger utilization. He worked it so well as the Jet, but it doesn't necessarily work for every agent. I'd say the Raze is probably one it does work with, because you can use, again, those blast packs to satchel your way into a better position. What was that? That was interesting. All right, yeah. So Scream sends that one high into the sky. Not really sure what the plan was there, but the op peak early has to be utilized to take out the Boombot, which was moving towards that B site. But they're still playing aggressive in B main currently. You've still got Scream here, who's waiting on the other side of that dark cover.
You know, applying that pressure towards the middle and B main is proving to be a little bit of a challenge for PartyParrots. Usually we'll see them play quite aggressively and try to find some early picks towards the middle, but it definitely benefits you if you're on the defense, having a little bit more space to work with and more space to fall back on. You know, when you're pushing up the middle, there isn't too many places to hide. It's going to be Angel that clears out the tunnel that leads towards the B site. Artist going to find one in heaven and now back away. It'll be Solkis that is looking for the refrag there to try to push up. Scream now in a little bit of trouble. Gets taken down to 83. Trying to hop over. A bullet whiffs past and tags him down to 79. Still looking for the engagement. Still alive somehow as bullets are sent flying his way one after another. And now here comes the red carpet. The celebrities are out and they're on the show. Shao with 2, Artist with a 3rd. And it's just down to Link. Looking like a successful take here for PartyParrots. Spike going down and a round on the table for them.
Yeah, Link has the operator down right to his left, decides not to get it. Oh my gosh. As he continues to retreat, shots just continue to pour through that wall. The plaster and wood, not enough to stop that penetration coming through from the rifles. He does escape, but he's on low HP, went for the heal, but taking damage during the heal, pauses the heal, so he's down to 62 health currently over on the A site, looking for an avenue to escape. And good luck getting away. They are well on the hunt. A flawless round coming out from PartyParrots. You can see Scream was on the site. He goes for that Rolling Thunder ult, goes for the peek, starts taking a lot of damage. Actually got dinked like almost immediately. And if anything, this train should have been an illustration of the direction that Scream should have been going in. Once he saw that many bodies, he should have been out of there. Take that train, take the bullet train, and get out of that B site. He was looking towards heaven for a heal after that, but the Sage was too far away. He was coming up ropes towards vents. So there was no support that he needed. And he's like, guys, please help me. As he goes for that Rolling Thunder, goes for the flash. Tremor goes down as well. Nothing was slowing them down. They managed to get onto the site with ease.
And still we see round after round, fish123 try to have control of the middle here. Early shot from Eccles. A shot's good. Walking his way out of there with the TP. And he'll survive. And it's an early pick onto the PartyParrots. The resurrection puts Angel back in the mix, and honestly, I understand the play. Having your top fragger, your most impactful player back into the mix. You'll likely see that as we move forward if Scream ends up falling and there's a position to revive him and put him back into play. But PartyParrots still committed to mid control, but that seems to be the name of the game on split here, and so they'll have that control and now start to look towards a potential A push. Already we've had DinksJ set up and prepared as he's spent a lot of time looking down the ramp, and it's been quite clear, so they'll slow walk their way in, but it's the defense now gathering a little bit more information. Scream smells that it's not going to be the B push, pushes up towards B main, and has a look into some of those early spots near the B site. Eccles looking in the mid lane, no one's there, and now Link, it's going to be the A push that's confirmed. First frag onto Artist, still a couple more, and it's the blast pack that whiffs Eccles' shot down to 25, and oh, he can't land another. They're just playing cat and mouse with him, but it's the rest of the defense that funnel in from heaven. They'll find the frags they need. Shao as well sends the showstopper flying, but this crazy round really goes the way of the defense as they're able to retake the site before really the spike is even to go down, and in those scenarios, that is where teams thrive. If you make it difficult for the attack to get the spike down and get cozy in a post plant, the defense really are able to make it difficult for the attack to get comfortable.
That was a little awkward there for Eccles. So Eccles pops the ult for intel towards mid, does see the brim come through from vents, but didn't spot anyone else. So they get prepared to lock down ropes. At that time, the push is coming through from A ramp, so they're dealing with a 2-player hold on the site, both back elbow. You've got the operator there, and you've got the rifle from the Sage. Despite the fact that Eccles whiffs the first shot thanks to the blast pack coming in from the Raze, he still survives for a few more shots, and he's low on HP, but he doesn't get the heal from Link, who's right next to him, because the push is still underway, and Link's trying to play defense, doesn't have time to turn around and go for that heal. So in the heat of that moment, in the heat of battle, you see Eccles eventually succumb to his injuries, but luckily the Sage is able to survive, and they're also able to grab that operator and bring it into the next round. 5 rounds now on the board for fish123. PartyParrots looking to gather up control of mid. We've seen this style of approach to holding mid before, playing a lot more passively, playing back inside the ropes drop, just kind of sitting down there in the pit waiting for them to come through, and it usually works out pretty well. You've got the brim right on the other side. If Link just holds this, very likely to result in a kill, but never mind. Angel was looking at the ground, not prepared for the push, and Link gets the timing perfectly. I was a little concerned until we went into the perspective of Angel, and he was staring at his toes.
I think he was actually about to pull up the smokes and prepare for the execute. But I don't know what. I think it was going to be the fake execute towards A. But of course, Eccles is already there on the other side. He would have smelt it coming a mile away. And as they start to funnel in towards B, Scream and Solkis find the frags they need. There's only one traded away by Xiao. But at this point, it is just too little, too late, as they will find everything that they need on the side of fish123. 6-2 the scoreline. PartyParrots just trying to lay on rounds as much as they can. Likely not going to have the economy moving into the next one. As you can see, it's pistols. They've got a little bit, but they'll likely just force up to a point where, they'll just spend it all. Okay. Which means that in the round to follow, they won't have the weaponry online. So if fish123 win this one, we could see an 8-2 scoreline very quickly, and that becomes scary for PartyParrots.
Appreciate our observer also giving us the arrivals and departure times. Lets me know that my train is on time to the Chromo Dome at 8:03. There's Xiao going in quick with the SMG. You know, we talked about it. Raze and Jet, those two players who can kind of utilize the SMG on this map to get into an advanced position, and he does just that, taken out by Solkis, his opposite Raze. But they've already lost control of the site. The problem is the spike isn't there. The spike's actually all the way back in spawn. So they went for this aggro play on A, using the Raze blast packs to get into this position, but then they fail to capitalize on that. Now, Artist at least has control of ropes, but a little bit of a peculiar scenario here. Look at Scream, stuck inside the smoke. Gonna go ahead and send that out onto the site, but it's just a little bit too late as the spike's already been secured and they can shift out of position.
Yeah, a very difficult spot for them to be in as well. They know that there's a pesky Artist somewhere hanging around, and so makes it very difficult to start to spread out. It'll be Artist now that'll be there relatively behind their back. Scream, fortunately, timing not going to work out in his favor. Cryptics, though, timing works out for him, and now it's down to the 1v3. And the fault line means that they are looking to push him out. Angel can be the one that leads that charge, and that charge he will lead as he sends a headshot flying onto Cryptics. Around on the board for PartyParrots, and the more that they develop here in this first half, the easier their second becomes. So looking back at the departure times, just for you that may be missing some of your early trains, we have Osaka at 7:18 and Battery at 7:21. So if you want to hurry up on those, they'll be boarding shortly.
Where is the Chromo Dome? Is that me? Is this an insult for me and Tom Biz? Should we feel insulted? They're making fun of bald people. Not fair. Uncool, Rito. 3 rounds on the board for PartyParrots. So as much as I want to be insulted right now, maybe it's them who should be insulted. This is a map they should be a lot stronger on. To be fair, very defensive-sided map. So like this is a little bit to be expected. But we were hoping to see a little bit stronger of an attack come out from them, and as of yet, we haven't quite seen that.
I like the early picks. It's the 4v4 now. Eccles, though, we've seen how he can just push up and find the frags with the operator, but you could see that PartyParrots don't really want any of that. Xiao, the only one that kind of sticks around to see if there's any late lurkers that push in through B main, but now they'll start to funnel in. Control of mid has really been just given up by fish123 round after round. And in some cases, we see a little bit of like a U-shaped defense. They'll give up mid, but they'll push up aggressively through B and A to try to get early looks if the attack is pushing in. And in most cases, it's PartyParrots that just send one to just keep an eye on things. This time it's DinksJ who's going to be pushing in from that angle. But the rest of the team, they have mid control. They push in through ropes. Cryptic's going to be the one that really makes it difficult. He's going to find 2 for the road, but Xiao will find some as well. And now it's just down to the 2v2, and the defense are late for the retake. But it's Eccles that'll be the one that meets Scream there first.
PartyParrots get site control again, and they get the spike down. Should be able to find their 4th round here as they have the showstopper at their disposal. It's all about how they use it. But they do have to contend with Eccles and Scream, and Eccles has the operator. Scream doesn't really matter what's in his hands. He's Scream. As they start working their way out, it's all going to come down to the timing here for DinksJ. Oh, a little bit awkward there for a second, but does end up winning the 1v1. Eccles going to tap the spike inside the dark cover, has swapped out to the Phantom. DinksJ isn't falling for it, starts to span through, now shifts positions. He's got to worry about Eccles going around the backside, starts to read it as the peek comes through. PartyParrots will find the round. It's an expensive one, but again, it's split attack side. As long as you can get rounds, it doesn't really make a difference. Eccles got things going early with that operator. Cryptics was able to chime in as well. It was looking somewhat promising again for fish123 as he found even a second. But then it came down to this 1v1, and it was just really well read from DinksJ. After taking Scream down, in the initial 1v2 to bring it to that point. Scream also not having a great first half here on the defense, 6 and 7 as the breach. Eccles 10 and 6 with Cryptics kind of top of the charts for them.
You know, I was really worried for Dinkshay there. I thought he might end up a little empty on the clip, but does work out for him. And really, the worst case scenario now for PartyParrots is an 8-4 half, and that's not even really that bad. Still a lot of buffer rounds that they can work with. Shao gonna find one early. Dinkshay as well to follow suit as they start to push in on towards the A site. Scream makes his way to the party, but he may be a little too late. That spike, of course, now gonna start to go down, and Scream will win the duel from a distance. Dinkshay gonna feel that one in the morning, but Shao already on an early looker, and Cryptics will read it. Take out and support Scream from the defender spawn. Spike down, and it's the 2v3 retake.
Ult's getting popped here. The neural theft and the res come through. Solcus right around the corner will lose that fight with Angel. There's the rolling thunder coming in from Scream. Artist with a crisp shot onto Cryptics. And now Scream with almost no HP has to try to clutch this one out. Artist still under the effects of that rolling thunder. Not afraid. Because, you know, you talk about Scream's one taps. Well, he can do it too. So it will be another round for PartyParrots. Now things are starting to look how we anticipated they would coming into this first half. As a 6-6 scoreline seems somewhat likely, given that the buy coming in from fish123 is not going to be great. You're going to have a shotgun for Link. Solcus is making his decision. It's going to be a Bucky for him as well. 2 Bulldogs and a Phantom.
Yeah, 6-6 is actually perfect for PartyParrots. A huge round buffer that they can work with on the second half. And when they were up against G2, it was a 10-2 half. G2, of course, on attack. Now imagine that. PartyParrots in control on the defender side. It is looking scary now for fish123. And we talked about it. This may be one of the best teams, one of the top teams in Europe. And PartyParrots are making them really work for it here. I don't actually think that they were anticipating losing that round, and so the broken buy kind of reflects that. They're like, oh crap, well now we don't really have the money to make things competitive. So PartyParrots can at least feel a little bit more confident, but still they're playing it a little slow at the beginning of the round.
Again, that passive ropes control coming in from fish123. Artist not looking straight down where Link is in position with the shotgun. Surprise! The Bucky punishes, taking the Sage out of play. That's huge. Losing that utility and, of course, that oh-so-potent heal. Solcus in position on the opposite end of where that push was coming through in heaven with, again, the shotgun. The Bucky waiting for the push. The tripwire gets taken out, giving away that position. And as they hear that shotgun fire, they're like, I don't like this anymore. The nade's going to come through as well as the blast pack, a follow-up blast pack in there to boot. Now they're finally going to be moving forwards, and they've actually been able to push that raise back. The shotgun peek doesn't work out well for Solcus, who's dropped by Angel, who's having a fantastic game thus far. Coming through into the site, they take out Cryptics as well. You know what they have to fight with here on the site. It's going to be Link up in heaven with the shotgun, but it's Eccles who's got the Bulldog, who's putting in work. Rez coming out from Link as well, but the spike's been planted, so they do eventually lose site control. It's down to the 2-on-3.
They still have the showstopper available, which can definitely take out an opponent when used in the right scenario. Eccles, I'm not sure. I think that might have been the pump fake. Maybe it's going to be the showstopper that clears out the back site, but actually manages to find Shao and Link with the Bucky. It's going to be the 7-5 scoreline. fish123 off of the broken buy find themselves a thrifty round. And still, now that we swap halves, let's see how they keep this momentum up. The pistol can be quite difficult, especially now that it is PartyParrots on the defense. But let's see how they end up holding up against fish123.
I mean, that's how things got started, Link. Point blank range with that shotgun. And then on the retake, they just find all of these kills. I mean, it's kind of interesting how fast that happens and how misread maybe that situation is. Once you hear that rocket pop, you don't see anyone really hiding. You see the Raze, if anything, going for an aggressive peek. And then they double shotgun peek the last player in spawn. Still, though, PartyParrots put up 5 rounds in the first half. That's not that bad on Split. I mean, Split right now is heavily defense-sided. I think the statistics are like 70-30 or 65-35. So we'll see what PartyParrots can do now that they switch over to the defense. Like you said, it starts here in the pistol. If PartyParrots win the pistol and the round that follows, which proved to be problematic in the first half, then they can tie things up when the first buy round comes through.
Artist already spotting out Scream, who's playing quite aggressively, but we see Angel. He's ready to do Angel things. It's Eccles that checks the corner, but he doesn't check it fully. Link has the ability to find the refrag there, and that's crucial. Angel, the one that makes it very disruptive here for the attack, is already out of the mix. And so that gives a little bit more space for the attack to work with. Looking towards the B side, there are two there, ready for the defense, Dinksjay and Xiao. Xiao, of course, has the paint shells ready. Here's some of that utility start to come through and smells that it might be the opposite push as well. Artist on the opposite side. Scream gonna find him. Scream helping his team find another. Solkis will take out Xiao. And now it's the 2v3. Looking like fish123 can win this round.
Scream on site, dedicating to the plant. PartyParrots. The two remaining members, one of them very, very low on HP. That's the Cypher, so a lot of weight for SSK here to lift. Flash is going to lead them into the site. The first one to peek will be the Cypher, despite the low HP, looking to get that trade opportunity, just saying, bait me, bait me, bait me. Dinksjay goes to the back of site, goes back behind the box. Nice swing coming out from Solkus, and now it's SSK who's low on HP. Scream to his left and one to his right. Great timing as both players peek on the back of the breach utility. So it will be an 8th round for fish123 and a chance to propel themselves towards that 9th round, assuming they can combo these rounds together. That first half, the pistol was won, and the opposition won the second round. The same could happen here.
You know, I wonder if Angel managed to fall back or at least swing and find a second kill, how that round would have looked. Wish we had the opportunity to look at some of the defense, if they're deciding to force up or if they're staying on the pistol, because if they force up, they can make it very difficult for the attack. So SSK's shorty gives me a lot of information on what's going on here on the defensive side. So looking like a fruitful 9th round for fish123, and quite honestly, they desperately need it, because I have a feeling once PartyParrots start to come online, they are going to shut them out hard. And so far, 2 towards middle for the attack here to kick us off, 3 towards what looks like to be the A push, but they're a little bit held up here. A lot of utility giving information towards mid, but they've actually stacked a lot of members towards this A site. As they start to pull off, things might get hairy very quickly.
They're slowly working their way in. Finally, you'll see that utility pop, the boom bot to lead them in. The nade comes in and splits the push a bit. So Solkus is alone, but it doesn't make too much of a difference. Solkus getting the opener. A follow-up from Scream. Xiao drops in, manages to upgrade. Gonna get flushed out of position, but it doesn't make a difference. Nice shots coming in from Xiao, who's been oh so good thus far. The problem is they realize they have full B site control. So the spikes already ran through heaven, has made it into the site. Link's going to be locking down spawn, looking for anyone that could be playing defense. Site's completely clear. The thing is they haven't flushed out site yet, so they're still playing this one a little bit slow, making sure that there's no one hiding in backside, no one hiding spawn. That gives time for the rotate over from Xiao. Cypher is a bit disconnected from the play, so the Cypher sitting at bottom mid right now, watching for that ropes rotate. There's no one coming through from ropes. They're all coming through from spawn.
And what I like about this is that PartyParrots were able to upgrade 2 of the weapons. So you're seeing Artist, he's trying to clear things out. Dinksjay with the shorty takes Link down to 66, and still it's going to be now the 2v3. Fish123 with the man advantage, and Cryptic's playing quite far back, and it's a very interesting plant as well. They'll get that barrier orb as well, and they'll actually commit to the defuse. It's still going to be dangerous as they need to be a little bit more careful. Xiao gonna get taken out, and it's all down to Artist as Eccles will find 2. A very close 9th round, but fish123 will scrape it together. I really thought that PartyParrots would have made it a little bit more expensive, but they weren't even able to make a dent. 3 will still stand, and now the 9-5 scoreline. And actually, while we're here, do you want a cup of coffee? You want a bagel?
I'd love a cup of coffee.
Yeah?
I love that we have like all these little, we were talking about it yesterday, all these little details on maps that you don't even see. Shows like it illustrates the attention to detail from Riot level designers. Just like creating this little story. You're never going to go in there. Like, unless you're flying third person, you're never going in there. But someone who designs the map takes great pride in all of those little accessory pieces. Reminds me of the map designer from Counter-Strike, FM Pone, who does the same thing. Like, if you look at one of the more popular maps like Cache, that he's helped work on, along with Volcano, who's also a big part of the Valorant project, there's all these details like the playgrounds in the background and hotels and the new safe containment, which is the big thing they built around Chernobyl to prevent the radiation from leaking out. Like, all of that attention to detail, it might not necessarily make a difference to the player when they're actually in the map, but I appreciate it as someone who has to watch the map a lot. So it's as someone who gets to see those outsides of the map, the areas that you don't necessarily get to play in, I appreciate that attention to detail. Artis currently holding mid vents. There's a couple of players around the corner in mid. You've got the Omen here, and you've also got Link, who's now backing off with the spike heading over towards A. Eccles is currently just making sure that the push doesn't come through. Fake TP doesn't really fool Artis, but somehow, despite the fact that Eccles was caught off guard by a blindside shot, he'll still end up winning, even with weaker hardware on the Bulldog.
And he's going to upgrade here too, but Xiao might see a couple of these members rotate through. It's going to be Xiao that finds one. SSK will trade as well, but it's Cryptics to make it a little bit more difficult. So Xiao, the last line of defense here on the A side, as the rest of the defense will start to funnel in through from the defender spawn. Eccles knows that it might be difficult for this Heaven control, and so he'll back away and take the long way around. So now it is possible for the defense to make their way back through. It's the 3v2, and Eccles is really taking his time to make his way around. Link gonna find Angel, and already the leader of the team has fallen, so the backside control is so far working for them. But here comes the showstopper to make it that much more difficult, and it's the swing from Dinksj that'll find two. Eccles trying to make it a little bit more difficult for the defuse. But finally, PartyParrots, they'll find a round on the board and continue to keep things close.
We have a map. It looked like PartyParrots was going to take this series 2-0 after they took a map that we didn't anticipate them being able to find a win on. And they're just so good on Split historically. They've played really well, beating this same team really badly. But again, we don't necessarily know some of the pieces of that history, what sides they started on. Did PartyParrots get the start on the defense? Did they get that leg up in that first half? And also, adjustments have been made. Team compositions have changed. We've seen role swaps. Obviously, early on, Scream was playing the Sage, then started playing the Reyna. Now he's really found his comfortability in the breach play. And at the same point in time, Scream has kind of been a non-factor. If we're being honest, Scream has struggled in this second map. Where he was the top performer in map 1, he's definitely fallen off, but his flash is still there. Still a piece of these takes. There's the flash coming out to try to open things up, but the molly is down and Link can't escape the flames. Fire and ice preventing him from escaping that molly damage. And as a result, yet again, the Sage is taken out early in the play. Dinksj gonna find one more, peeking aggressively from back of sight towards B main. That Solk is falling, and since the Sage is gone, the Rez is out of contention as well. It's a 5-on-3 in favor of PartyParrots.
And fish123, they wall off ropes, and that was a great hold from PartyParrots. A lot of utility used, mind you, to not let them push forward, but that gives them the ability to control Heaven. And now those shots coming in from above. It's Eccles that'll still make the difference, though, as he finds two, looking to get that spike down. The rest of the defense really struggling, and unfortunately that box no longer shoot throughable. I don't even know if that's the correct phrasing there, but it's now a metal box, and the orbital strike, that might just seal the deal. And that'll be the round here for PartyParrots.
Yeah, there's no longer penetration through that box.
Penetration, sure, there we go, there we go.
I'm sure I every 12-year-old is giggling in chat because I said penetration, but penetration is the name of it. Penetration is the word, penetration.
Just get it out of your system. Get it out of your system.
Listen, I'm a 33-year-old man, and even I giggle a little bit. 7 rounds coming in from PartyParrots as they're starting to convert here on the defense. Sure, they lost site control, so a spike plant was there. The concerning thing for this round, look at the number of ults currently available for fish123. Rolling Thunder, Showstopper, the Omen TP, and the Resurrection as well for the Sage. They don't have Neural Theft, so they can't hit that magic number 5. Look at this ult, though. I mean, this was perfect. Exactly where it needed to be. There was a small gap maybe in that back corner that you could have found safety in, but let's be real. We've seen players try to escape in those small gaps, and sometimes it's not as big as you think it is, and you end up getting taken out anyway. So it looks like we're going to see an A push. Would not be surprised to see that Rolling Thunder sent out from Scream as they start to push on towards the site. Xiao is back behind that smoke in Heaven. They're a little bit late on the utility. SSK is here, but he's lost Angel, who is stuck looking at the iPad trying to dial in the smokes. It'll come down to SSK on the site, but There was only one player left remaining due to SSK's heroics. Xiao is there at the end with the judge to seal the deal. 3 players survive as the attempt to push onto that A site doesn't really work out so well. They don't use a single ult though, so they still have all 4, and now they've hit that magic number 5. So they could theoretically use a few of those ults to gain site control or even hold down in the post plant.
Yeah, you can expect Scream. If I were to choose one of the ultimates that's likely going to be used, it's going to be the Rolling Thunder. It's a great way to push on towards the site, but considering how PartyParrots have been playing, in some cases that might not even work. They have a lot of utility that they spend to try to stop the push forward, and that might just be the ticket to having a great hold on split. Often we'll see the push towards Heaven actually work out, you know, on towards that B site. You know, the defense will pull off, they'll give it a little bit more space, but now, a round or 2 ago, they were able to really hold it off. And so now, the push comes in, they gather the intel with the Omen ultimate, Showstopper as well, might not even actually end up finding anything, but does meet its mark onto Xiao. And so now the 4v5 spike going down, it's up to the PartyParrots to retake the site.
Again, we talked about it. A lot of skills, and there's the first one coming out, but it's actually from the defense. That's the Rolling Thunder. Do we see the counter Rolling Thunder? Yes, we do. It comes through from Scream, but it's actually not as effective because it only really takes care of the early part of Heaven.
Wow.
They're already on the site, but look at that. Just like that, they collapse. It was a bit of a retake on a site take. It was weird because they had 2 players playing back a little bit more in mid. So Scream goes for that ult pop, the Rolling Thunder, and they're effectively coming in from mid, sort of like a retake of the retake. And it allows fish123 to hit double digits, 10 rounds now. I would love to take a look at the money as much as you guys would. But obviously something we've talked about all tournament long. Currently there is a bug on the scoreboard that only allows us to see 1 player from each team after the half swap. Riot is aware they're working on a fix. It should be fixed probably very soon. Fingers crossed, as we would love to see that credit build up. And not only that, we'd love to see what's going on the scoreboard. Who's performing and how well are they doing in this second half.
Good early shot from DinksJ in the match against G2. He had 5 first bloods to match Angel's 6. And we talked a little bit about in the early analyst desk how aggressive Angel can be, but DinksJ can be quite as aggressive. The operator might be the most difficult thing for now fish123 to push into, and so they'll find a pick onto SSK, or sorry, onto Artist, and now start to back away. That resurrection out of play for PartyParrots means that fish123 might have the ability to resurrect Scream back into the mix. He is, of course, an important factor in the success of fish123. Cryptic's going to be holding up the ramp to make sure it's a relatively easy resurrection. Wall going to be going up. So now it's back into the mix, and that Showstopper does not meet its mark, but still somehow the judge will get the job done, and it's the blast pack that puts Xiao back up into Heaven. It's the early rotate through. They don't expect this, but now they'll spot him out. Constantly moving around from position to position. There's 30 seconds left on the clock, and it's a difficult take forward. Still 2 members from PartyParrots back towards that B site, really giving a lot of respect. DinksJ finds a shot with the penetration. There's the word. Cyber Cage coming through. The classic won't get the job done, and Neural Theft gives all the information that they need, and they see Angel. He's coming in like a hot seeking missile, but Eccles will deal with him quite handily. And now down to the 1v3. SSK in a 1v many scenario, trying to clear out that corner there underneath the rafters, and now 1 shot will come through, but it's Cryptic with 3K on the round. 1 round away from match point, and a map that we thought PartyParrots was really going to turn up the heat. It's fish123 with the round lead.
Yeah, I mean, we anticipated this being honestly a 2-0 after that first map, especially given the history between even these 2 teams on the map. Quick shot coming out from Cryptics. DinksJ was there with the operator trying to slow down the push, but made the mistake of going elbow, and then the Cyber Cage comes down right on top of him. And at that point, you're like, how do I realistically hold this? Goes to the sidearm. The pistol's just not as powerful as it needs to be for him. So it doesn't work out so well. DinksJ this time on the Sheriff, peeks initially towards B main, tries to hit that early headshot, doesn't come through, so looked like for a second he might have considered a secondary peek, realizing not wanting to give away that advantage so early in the round to fish123 with the way that they've punished that in the past. He backs off into the site. Going to use a cam to just try and spot out anybody. No one currently there, at least not that far up. There are 2 currently sitting inside B main to take out his cam in the end. The spike is currently down back in Ramen. or towards Ramen at least. You can see the leaps from Artist, spotting out the players in mid. Finally, DinksJ will meet his demise as Screams had enough of that Cypher play. This nade, oh, it's not good enough. Just like the ult in the last round, just barely clips the edge of the wall, and it disrupts the plan coming in from PartyParrots.
Now with that smoke down, Artist might see that there will be a couple of members pushing up through mid, still undecided on where they want to go, and Screams telegraphing here of sticking around in B main. Might be that it's still the B push, and having a look at Artist, ooh, won't mean it's marked with the Sheriff, and now the early rotate towards A. Scream just going to make that rotate over very difficult for the defense. Sees one starting to rotate through, and they'll think it's the B push, but Scream's just making it very difficult. SSK though with the Bucky won't see anyone funnel in through heaven, and Angel, he's trying to hunt down Scream, and he will do so successfully. A battle of the top frags, and Angel will come out on top with the jumping Bucky. Now has a Phantom, is the last member standing, and it's a 1v4. Does not look like it's going to be very doable for Angel, but it's possible. Anything is possible.
Unlikely, incredibly unlikely. Angel would be lucky to survive, and that doesn't even end up happening. Link was waiting around the corner. 12 rounds now for fish123. One away from closing out this second map. Again, not exactly a map they typically find success on. They lost to NIP 13-3. Sure, you know, they've played other teams and found success, but that was a little while ago as well. The last time they played Split within the last month or two was against PartyParrots in the ePulse Valorant Prodigies event. They lost 13-3. Seems to be a recurring theme of that scoreline, 13-3, 13-3. So at this point, PartyParrots has to hope they can force things to overtime. We'll see if they're even able to do that. Fish123 has looked great thus far. And you can see PartyParrots looks a little bit frazzled. They're going for these aggressive plays, and that's an early advantage coming in for fish123 as Xiao tries to force the fight forwards on the A site, and now has weakened that A site defense, and they have to rotate one all the way over. So Angel's going to have to rotate over from that B site to try to support.
Not looking good here for the PartyParrots, but they still have a resurrection if they want to get involved, or if another member falls. We'll see how the hold starts to come through. Looking at DinksJ's camera, and I quite like it, has an angle towards the entryway towards the site, and of course the ramp as well. So allows Angel to play a little bit more aggressively if he wants to swing left or swing right. The information will come from DinksJ, but unfortunately, there may be too many members that start to flood in. That's the Rolling Thunder that'll give us a little bit more information, but it's just the delay over towards that B site. But it'll actually call Angel to pull over, and a guess, a read on the orbital strike. They'll start to funnel in through the cage, and it's just a spray down from DinksJ, but the clip starts to fall empty. Angel from above will find two, and it's starting to fall apart here for fish123. It'll be the 3v1 for Scream as he's the last member standing. Spike behind enemy lines, and PartyParrots looks like they will keep their dream alive with 12-9.
It was something I meant to mention. Yeah, they still had the orbital strike. So there was still something to fall back on here. Scream will do at least a little damage. Yeah, you don't want to see this happen. With the scoreline this close, you can't afford to be losing that many bodies at the end of a round you've already won. We'll see how it impacts the money. You can see Xiao's at 23 and 18, and it doesn't have enough cash to buy. The other top performer, 21 and 12. This is the bug we've talked about. It only shows you the top fragger from both teams. It is unfortunate, but hopefully it'll be fixed very soon. It was a great hold over on A, but this ended up costing them so much. Those last two kills coming in, inconsequential really to fish123 outside of the money. So now the buy is going to be much weaker potentially for PartyParrots. You can see the Sage slow orb coming down right off the rip in mid. A bulk of the bodies right now for fish123 sitting back in mid, and one more joining them. That's the Cypher coming through from sewers.
Like we said, not everyone really has the weaponry to tango here for the side of the PartyParrots. Judge there for Xiao, looking to keep it close. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the greatest angle as Artist gets a face full of lead from Eccles. The operator shot will sing, and it'll meet its mark. One down here. Now the 4v5. They were down last round, but they had weapons to really contend against fish123. Not going to be the case this time around, and so We thought it would be a great defensive side here for PartyParrots, but it's proven to be quite difficult as fish123 will find another with Scream. Now it's going to be looking like the execute here, as there are only 2 more members near and around the site. Judge not going to work out here for Xiao. And it's already down to the last and final player. It's SSK in a 1v5. Bach, I have a feeling we're going to map number 3.
Yeah, it seems incredibly unlikely that SSK will be able to do anything to prevent this one. 22 seconds left, and the spike gets planted. It's a 1-on-5 retake. Absolutely fantastic performance on split coming in from fish123. SSK gets tagged through the box by the operator, and down he goes in the end, 13-9. fish123. We may have counted them out coming into this second map, but they prove us wrong. They'll be taking things to map number 3. A surprising victory coming out here.